have Steelers breaking news on this beautiful Monday morning as the Pittsburgh Steelers are bringing back inside linebacker Myles Jack, and they're signing him to the practice squad pending a physical. Jack is in Pittsburgh right now to get his physical, and if everything goes well, he is expected to sign to the Steelers practice squad. I'm going to go over what this means for the Steelers defense moving forward. Will Jack be instated as a starter moving forward? Will he be on the practice squad? Going to let you know what I think here coming up here in just a second. But first, this is why you subscribe to the channel, people, all right? Make sure you click that subscribe button because every time the Steelers make a move, every time that something big happens for the Pittsburgh Steelers all year round, we're going to have you covered with the video. So do me a favor, click that subscribe button right now for round-the-clock Steelers coverage all year long. So let's look at Myles Jack here, where, of course, he played with the Pittsburgh Steelers back in 2022. He was a full-time starter, started 13 games last year. His Pro Football Focus grade, though, 53.6, pretty darn low grade there. He ended up getting replaced by the end of the season by Robert Spillane. Spillane was more of the true number 2 inside linebacker at the end of last season, and Myles Jack was kind of phased out. He gets cut during the offseason. He gets picked up by the Eagles, and then he retires from football after a short stint with them this year. Didn't really play all that well when he was in there. He said that he felt overmatched with the Eagles roster, and he felt like it was time to hang him up. But now he gets another opportunity with the Pittsburgh Steelers on the practice squad. And you take a look at his numbers from last year, 104 tackles, so over 100 tackles for this guy last year as a starter, 3 tackles for loss, a QB hit, and then also he had 3 pass breakups as a pass defender. 13 games started, 15 games played for him. Again, Robert Spillane was kind of transitioned into more of a starting role over Jack towards the end of last season. And it's definitely going to be interesting to see what Myles Jack and the plan that the Steelers have for him moving forward. Is the plan to keep him on the practice squad? Is the plan to move him up to the active roster and even start him over a guy like Mark Robinson? It's definitely going to be interesting to see here. I'm going to let you know what I think is going to be the Steelers' plan moving forward, at least what the plan should be moving forward. But first, I want to hear from you guys. What is your one-word reaction to this signing of Myles Jack to the practice squad? This is also going to be the pinned comment on today's show. So here's what's going to happen. YouTube's going to throw you an ad break here in just a couple of seconds. When that happens, take advantage of that time by giving me your one-word reaction. So for me personally, my one word is Band-Aid, because this doesn't seem like something to me where it's going to completely change things for the Steelers in the inside linebacker room, okay? Like, this guy was on the Philadelphia Eagles roster this year. He was already starting to not play good football last year. That's why he was phased out. And then he goes to the Eagles, and he was even worse, which is why he retired from football. And he's been sitting on his couch all season. So now he's going to come in and just start right away for the Steelers. I'm not too sure that this is going to work out for the Pittsburgh Steelers, but that's my one-word reaction. And we're going to go over kind of more of his career stats and what the plan for him could be looking like moving forward for the Pittsburgh Steelers at the inside linebacker room. But first, I want to tell you about today's sponsor at PrizePicks. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use our code CLNS for a deposit match up to $100 today. If you're looking for a way to spice up your game days this NFL season, PrizePicks is a real money daily fantasy sports game. And if you're wondering how that works, here's how. You pick 2 to 6 players, and if they'll go for more or less than their PrizePicks projection, you can even win 25 times your money on any entry. So let's take a look at my entry before Monday Night Football tonight between the 49ers and the Eagles. Yeah, 49ers and the Eagles, where we got the more on Christian McCaffrey receiving yards plus touchdowns. We got the more on Jalen Hurts passing yards, and I got the more on Devontae Smith as well. It's actually the Eagles and Chiefs tonight on Monday Night Football. You can check it out now at prizepicks.com/CLNS and use our code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100 today. Again, that's prizepicks.com/CLNS and use our code CLNS for a deposit match up to $100 today. Let's take a look right now at Myles Jack and some of the stats that he has had throughout his career and kind of his career trajectory to this point. You go back to 2021. We've already looked at the 2022 stats, but this is all of his stats when he was back with the Jacksonville Jaguars. And you can see why the Steelers believed in this guy when they signed him to be their number one inside linebacker for the 2022 season, man. Consistently over 100 tackles when he plays most of the games in the season. He's somebody that's not really a great blitzer. He's not going to get a lot of sack production. He's not going to get a ton of interceptions for you, but he's somebody that's a very sound tackler and somebody that's going to be a very solid presence in the middle of your defense. And right now, the Steelers inside linebacker depth chart, you got the inside line. You got Landon Roberts as your number one guy. He's been phenomenal to this point in the season. He has absolutely earned that title of the number one inside linebacker here in the Steelers linebacker room. And then you got Mark Robinson and you had Myles Walker rotating in last week against the Cleveland Browns. And they both played fine, I thought. I would actually probably rather have Mark Robinson and Myles Walker out there as opposed to Myles Jack. But we also have Tariq Carpenter, and now Myles Jack will enter into the fold here as a practice squad player. But when it comes to the plan for Myles Jack, I don't think the plan is for him to come in and play right away. I just don't think that that's the smart move here for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's been somebody that's been in decline for years at this point. There was a reason why he retired from football. He hasn't been in the building all season. He's going to have to ramp things up. And I think that Mark Robinson and Myles Walker actually played pretty decently against the Cleveland Browns in Week 11. I would rather go with those guys as opposed to Myles Jack at this point. But if they're signing him, there is definitely a reason why. And I think that reason is he's a veteran. He's got good experience in this defense as well. So I think he might be a good mentor to guys like Mark Robinson and Myles Walker, still trying to get their feet wet as starters in the National Football League. But when it comes to really making Myles Jack a full-time starter here, I'm not sure if that's the best plan for Mike Tomlin and the Steelers moving forward. Now, grade this signing for me down there in the comments section. Give me an A, a B, a C, a D, or an F. For me personally, I'm going to give it a C. I don't think it's going to be that much of an impact here, if I'm being quite frank with you. But at the same time, you're bringing in somebody that's probably a good leader. He's going to be somebody that can bring some insight to some of the younger guys in the building. So I think there's a little bit of value there. But when it comes to actually turning things around at the inside linebacker position, not sure it's going to make that much of an impact. All right, that's going to be it for today's show, people. Really do appreciate all of your support. We will have another Steelers video come out this evening, so make sure you click that subscribe button because we're going to be talking about Najee Harris, Kenny Pickett, and who should start at quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers in Week 12 versus the Bengals.